Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Buckeye Weekly Podcast. I'm Tony Gerdeman here, as always, with Tom. Tom, how's it going?
Tony, I have not prepared an answer for you this time. I don't know why. I feel like I should know that you're going to ask me that exact question every time, and I just did not come prepared with one and have not had anything brilliant flash to mind. So, Tony, I will ask you, how's it going?
Let me ask ChatGPT. How am I doing, going? And ChatGPT says, you're doing just fine. So Tom, I'm doing just fine. Based on how, it's giving my engagement history. So, no, I'm not going to read that. No.
I don't want to say that or that. I'm going to hang up right now.
So I'm doing fine, apparently. Thank you for asking. We are here, as you guys know, by reading the title of this video and or podcast. We're continuing our series, and we've got a bunch of series, as you know, that we're continuing. But this one, looking at the expectations for Ohio State's year 2 players, and the expectations here for Devin Sanchez, feels like if you would have asked people, Ohio State fans, diehard Buckeyes, lunatic fringers, a year ago, they'd be talking about this guy as, well, he's getting ready for his second All-American season, and perhaps will spend some time as president of the United States. And if he then has also time to play football as well, he will do that. You ask the fringe now, and it's like, well, he's going to probably has to pay his own way to school now. He's really going to have to work hard to make sure that Dominic McKinley and Jordan Woods and Jordan Thomas and everybody else doesn't come in and steal this job that he's vying for. I think the answer is somewhere in between. Now, the expectation sound that you and I have is that he and Jermaine Matthews are your starting corners. But I think the larger question is, what does that mean? So I'll ask you, what does that mean for you with Devin Sanchez, who started in 2 games last year at Illinois, at Wisconsin, when I think Lorenzo Styles went down and they moved Jermaine Matthews to slot, and then you've got Devin Sanchez. So he got a lot of experience for a true freshman corner that is going to pay off. And too many people want to use, look at last year, essentially like a spring game where you make sweeping judgments based on a spring game. I don't think you want to make sweeping judgments based on a say, 10 plays over the 300 plus snaps that he had as a true freshman at corner at Ohio State against legitimate tough competition.
Yeah, I think this is one of these cases where, the coaches are going to tell you whatever they're going to tell you. And the feedback on Devin Sanchez when he was a recruit, the feedback on Devin Sanchez when he got to Ohio State has been universally positive. It has been great. There are no concerns. Great kid, great player, great everything. No concerns. They're going to say what they're going to say. But what they show you is what really is indicative to me of what they're really thinking. And what they showed you is he was out there game 1 against number 1 Texas, playing ahead of guys who were high 4-star guys who had been there a year. He was out there playing day 1, and he played in 13 games last year. And he was, that he was solid. He had his ups and downs, but didn't get pulled off the field. He was out there against Miami. He was out there against Indiana. He was out there against Michigan. He was out there in all these games from day 1. That tells me so much about what this team thinks of him and what they see from him every day in practice. And I think looking at what he did last year, the top line stats are not exciting. Mm-hmm. It's 13 games, 12 solo tackles, 3 assists, 15 tackles total, 2 passes defenses, 1 fumble recovery. That's it. For a true freshman corner, playing in 13 games at corner, not just playing on special teams, that's the biggest number to me. That is, okay, this is a true freshman who is out there way earlier than guys typically are at corner. And that was not an Ohio State, that was not the 2021 Ohio State secondary where it was, yes, you've got Denzel Burke out there. He's starting game 1. That says something about Denzel Burke. It says a lot more about everyone else in that corner room. You had Davison Igbinosun. You had Jermaine Matthews. You had Aaron Scott. You had good players in that room, and he still was out there very early. And that to me was really, really the most telling thing. So he's already, that puts him, I know that was not the freshman season that you mentioned that I think people were expecting him to just come out and just be like fireworks every time he goes in the field. That's way ahead of the curve of what a normal corner does in their true freshman year. And when you see that from a true freshman, that means your second season is not going to necessarily be first team All-American Thorpe Award winner. But the progression there is if you do that as a true freshman, then your second year, you're usually a pretty good corner. And you're probably, this is a second team All Big Ten type season. And, maybe that's plus or minus one team there. Maybe he's third team All Big Ten. Maybe he's first team All Big, whatever it is. But, you're kind of in that neighborhood. You're having the all conference type conversation around him this season. And, then year three, wait 12 months and we'll be having a much more excited conversation about him. But I think there's a concern or whatever concern there is around him is born out of unrealistic expectations from last year, when everything you're seeing from the coaching staff is telling me they feel really good about him and they feel really good about what they've got moving forward.
So you mentioned Devin Sanchez's stats last year, 15 tackles, 2 passes broken up. Jermaine Matthews as a true freshman in 23, 13 tackles, 3 passes broken up. Jeff Okudah in 2017, 17 tackles, 1 pass broken up. All very similar. I think the only difference in this entire group was that Jermaine Matthews had a 58-yard pick six against Western Kentucky. But all very similar, and then blossomed after that and used that experience to good use. And each of them getting a couple of starts. Did Jeff Okudah actually start the bowl game there at the end?
He
can't
did.
remember.
That was when Denzel Ward.
Denzel right.
Ward. Yeah, when he opted out. Yep.
So then what we're going to see, it'll be interesting to see early this season, is I do expect it to be Jermaine Matthews and Devin Sanchez as your 2 starters. We saw times last year where quarterbacks went weeks without throwing the ball at Jermaine Matthews, right? This is going to be a busy September for Devin Sanchez. And if he holds up, like, again, we've seen it before, you go into Texas, and if you can make some plays and be a star, then you will become a star. And go back to the James Laurinaitis thing in 2006. That's the game in Austin that set him apart and sent him off on his three-time All-American journey. But if Devin Sanchez gets thrown at a bunch from this elite Texas wide receiver crew that they have now, and a quarterback that will be, again, your Heisman frontrunner, but if he holds up there, and then that'll get the hype going. If he doesn't, like, again, you're talking about a really, really good battle, and it's only going to help. But you're saying second team All Big Ten. I think that's a good baseline, frankly, for a starting Ohio State corner. Doesn't mean it. I don't even know. Let me see how often Davison Igbinosun was a second team All Big Ten. Last year, it was Igbinosun was second team coaches, first team media, and Jermaine Matthews was third team coaches. And I don't think Igbinosun may have been like third team in 2024 as I scroll really quickly here and see, like, he was honorable mention, right? As a junior, Davison Igbinosun was, and Denzel Burke was honorable mention for the coaches as well. And that's the year they won the national championship. So do you need to be second team All Big Ten? No, you just need to be good enough and be that last line of defense against, the best receiver that they've got. And, Devin Sanchez has all the measurables that you could possibly want. 6'2", 200, quick, fast, strong, long, and now he's more experienced than a first-time starter generally is. So, yeah, I think second team All Big Ten expectations, I think that's a very good baseline. And, he may be first team, he may be honorable mention. There's no shame in being honorable mention, as I just showed.
Yeah, the fact that Jermaine Matthews was third team last year is a little bit, I looked up, I'm like, am I forgetting what kind of a year he had? And it was like, yeah, he had a quiet year because no one threw the ball to him, at him. Like, yeah, that that actually means you're good. I'm shocked that he was third team and not at least second team last year. Yeah, second or third team. I think that's all kind of in the same general ballpark to me. So yeah, I think that's a reasonable expectation. And yeah, you can go back over the years of Ohio State corners going back 10 years. There was a point where you would see guys, sometimes it was redshirt freshmen, but that first year they'd play a little bit, and that second year they'd be like, yeah, not bad. And then that third year was like, oh, they're really good. And then they're off to the NFL as a first round pick. It feels to me like that's kind of the trajectory we're talking about here with Devin Sanchez, where first year you saw him a little bit. Sometimes it went well. Sometimes it didn't go as well. He's a true freshman. That's what it looks like. Second year, yeah, it's going to be better. Going to be more consistent. Going to get challenged more because you're starting. And as we've said a bunch of times, yeah, they're playing a bunch of real good teams this year. So he's going to get thrown on. He will give up some touchdowns this year. That is going to happen to every corner in the nation that plays a good schedule. But I think he's going to more than hold his own this year. And then 2027, I think you're talking about, then we're probably having the, where does the tree go kind of conversation with him for 2027. But this year feels like there is a nice intermediate step here between here and an All-American conversation.
Yeah, I would agree. If you're watching, what are your expectations for Devin Sanchez? Go ahead and throw those in the comments. I'm interested to see what the people have to say and how much, the season that he had last year, which again was a true freshman, how much has that clouded or shaped the way people view him and what they're going to see from him this year. So that will do it from here. Thank you all for tuning in, and we will talk to you all later.